Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of your second best out of 3 of the day. Absolute Legends on the Radiant, facing off against Complexity, the boys from America, on the right, playing on the dire side here. And Luby, well, that was a quick game one, I have to say. Another quick game, but it was an unconventional strategy, guys. If you haven't checked it out, Ursa and Skeleton King, and some very clever tactics, not just from AL, but also from Complexity dealing with it. I'm excited for game 2. Hopefully we'll see some more interesting stuff. I'm LD from dotacommentaries.com, and of course, you just heard the man, the myth, the legend himself joining me today. It's Luminous, also from DC.
I mean, if you're watching right now, tell your friends, tell your mothers and your cousins, because the World Tour is the tournament you be watching. We have unconventional strategy because all the teams, they realize this is a tournament they get to practice against the best teams that they will be facing in a month or so. And what best way to practice than to throw some unconventional strats or play against some unconventional strats, just to make sure LD is the boys at the Dota TV hearing you and me.
They are. I am on top of it this time around. I actually turned it on before I even started introducing the game. Guys, I'm just trying to get into the rhythm with that, so if I missed in the first few, don't worry, it will get more consistent. But here we are. Chaos Knight, the first pick. Shadow Demon, Tidehunter, the reply. Well, Complexity, a lot of team fight, a lot of control off the bat, and AL, some great initiation. A hero that can do, I mean, Chaos Knight, truly the jack of all trades. Initiator, ganker, a carry as well. We've seen in the past. I think it was actually Bleak who went for a Midas and a Battle Fury, or maybe it was just a Battle Fury. But either way, I know he's gone for that carry style, farming style Chaos Knight. And well, if you want to do that, a great hero to back you up is that Chen, one of the best supports in the business.
Unfortunately, I really dislike his choice to pick a Chaos Knight, or well, he didn't pick the Chaos Knight against it, but Shadow Demon shuts him down hardcore. As you jump in for any hero, of course, defensive disruption is a thing, and of course, late game situation purge is a thing as well. Soul Catcher will make Chaos Knight very, very killable. So the rough counter of Shadow Demon, I have not actually seen Chaos Knight win a single game against Shadow Demon ever. Of course, I could be watching the wrong games, but matchup-wise, I think Shadow Demon just stressed through that CK.
Yeah, he's just such a good counter. I mean, you talked about Chaos Knight is a single target type of hero. Queen of Pain, however, is not. And this is a hero that can really, I mean, you can burst down the Shadow Demon. If anyone could do it, it probably is Queen of Pain. And if you kill Shadow Demon off before he's able to disrupt, before he's able to drop Soul Catcher, well, that's going to be a team fight you're very likely to win. So I like this third choice here from AL. Gives them some great mobility. Chaos Knight and Queen of Pain, two heroes that can get around the map and do so in a hurry. Chaos Knight with that huge base move speed, and also Reality Rift, the long range of Chaos Bolt as well. Queen of Pain with her Blink, we all know about that. So Complexity goes for, it can be some mobility in the Tinker, but he needs the boots of travel, and if you're AL, you definitely try and gank him before you can get them up and running.
Yeah, and I think Tinker's not going to have as easy of a time laning against the Queen of Pain if they do meet up on the mid lane. One thing I don't know much about Dota, but one thing I do know is that Queen of Pain lanes a lot better than a Witch Doctor. And that Shadow Strike is going to be absolutely annoying. Now the question is, will they actually put Tinker on the mid lane again? Because it's not the conventional place to put him. A lot of times you put him in that defensive dueling top, like MTW runs that.
I feel like,
but again, I think Hannah's going to be going to the bot lane again for sure with a Tidehunter.
You know, I feel like this is a game where it's even more dangerous to put him there. I mean, Tinker can hold his own 1v1 against Queen of Pain, but if you add any other hero into the mix, he's going to die. He doesn't have the escape mechanism. Maybe they could have a Shadow Demon or a Tidehunter sort of hang around mid, roam, smoke gank on their own, but if AL ever have that second, third hero, and of course the Chen, one of the best heroes in the business to do it, well, Tinker's probably going to die. So if they do that, it could be rough for him. In the 1v1 though, I think Tinker's fine. Queen of Pain can't tank the burst damage that Tinker brings to the table with Laser Rocket, at least not easily. So I think it's an even 1v1, but any other heroes join the mix, and well, it's going to look bad for that Tinker. Lich, Venomancer get banned out. AL, of course, do need one more support, so no surprises there. Meanwhile, Enchantress and Syllabear get the ban, and these are very strong pushing heroes. They don't want to deal with the Enchantress counter jungle. And when you're up against a Tinker already, Syllabear on top, or Lone Druid on top of that, man, that's another tanky push here that could be in the front lines.
Yeah, definitely. Another reason that you might not want to see Tinker mid, especially in this game, is you might actually go against a dual lane, Crystal Maiden plus Chaos Knight, or insert support plus Chaos Knight. That will shred Tinker as well. So we'll see if Complexity's balls enough to put a mid. I don't think so. Windrunner is going to be the pick here for Absolute Legend, getting their long lane.
This is
Music played it last time.
This is a classic kind of Eastern style, the mobile heroes, Windrunner, Queen of Pain, Chaos Knight, strong gankers, strong lane controllers. That is one thing Absolute Legends have in spades. I mean, last game they had a Skeleton King and an Ursa. These heroes, they weren't even laning, but even if they are laning, they're not winning that lane. Queen of Pain, Windrunner, Chaos Knight, these are heroes that win and dominate in the laning stage. Complexity's not bad in that department. But this is such a good lineup to chase down the Tinker as well. And I feel like he's a hero, if you can't chase him down, that's where he really screws you over. But AL, they got the burst damage, they got the mobility. I think Jayo's going to have a harder time this game. If he's the one playing the Tinker. Tiny is the pick. And Lumi, thoughts on this one?
My thoughts going to be a phase boot drums into an AC carry Tiny from TC. That's my thoughts. I have not seen him ever divert from the build. And if you're wondering, where's the Blink Dagger? Well, there's no such thing as Blink Dagger on TC's Tiny. I'm still waiting for him to prove me wrong and make me look stupid. But I've been saying that for months now, and he's been doing the same thing. So that's what I expect.
If that's the way he wants to go, I mean, it gives you a nice semi-carry option. Well, now Complexity, you're having a lot of burst damage. And as mobile as Queen of Pain and Windrunner are, if Queen of Pain blinks in, if Windrunner doesn't have Windrun, they could easily be burst down.
They die, yeah.
Yeah, you just die, right? I mean, I guess you get a BKB, you could go for Lincoln Sphere, Force Staff maybe. There are things you can try and do to deal with this, but in terms of just the hero abilities, it's burst damage versus mobility. That's really what we're... Well, AO's got some burst damage, but to make it more interesting, it's burst damage versus mobility. That's what we're looking at right now. Oh boy! We got ourselves a Rubik.
We do have ourselves a Rubik, and you could sell some beautiful... You're not selling the Rav. Don't even think about that, because he's going to Anchor Smash right after. But if you sell, Avalanche or Toss or March of Machine, that's not bad. If you steal, hey, Disruption, that's not bad either. Speaking of Tiny, there's going to be some very interesting interaction with Tiny and the rest of his team. First of all, you can always toss your Tidehunter in for a free initiation. We're going to be seeing that for sure this game. Also, the odd interaction with this offensive disruption is you could disrupt, you could put the Soul Catcher, and you could even Avalanche afterwards. But you're not going to get the guaranteed toss off because you might toss Illusion instead of the actual hero, and you might lose a little bit extra damage in that sense. But for the most part, it's a very, very good, reliable way to initiate for the Tiny. Very, very much similar to the Leshrek Shadow Demon combo that we see all the time. But yeah, Complexity's got some tricks up the sleeves. Let's see how they can be throwing out at this.
It's one thing they have in spades, right? They have the initiation, the Gush, the Ravage, Disruption, Purge. So many ways to initiate, plus the Tiny. You mentioned Toss, Avalanche, of course. And if you ever got a Blink up on the Tide or the Tiny, that's just an extra tool to work with. Meanwhile, for AL, it's not as much. They have Rubik. He's a decent single-target initiator. Windrunner, if you hit the Shackle, she can be, again, not reliable. And Chaos Bolt, a reliable single target. So for AL, it really seems like they have more of a kind of single-target focused ganking style lineup where maybe they don't want to take the team fights early. They have the heroes to spread the field, though. You've got Chen to help push out, farm from the jungle and set up those ganks. You've got, the Chaos Knight, the Queen of Pain, the Windrunner, so mobile around the map. They can avoid those team fights. They can find the 2v1s, the 3v1s, the 3v2s, those smaller scale engagements. If they can find them, they're going to be happy. Complexity goes for another hero that needs some farm in the Mirana. This is not a hero we see a lot.
How do you lane this? How do you lane this? You got 4 heroes that needs farm. I guess Tidehunter is not going to be playing as a support. Yeah, Hannah might be actually playing the Mirana long lane. I have never seen him do that.
It's not.
That's why I'm really confused.
It's going to be Fluff on the Mirana, and he's got wards already. He's playing
He's
Mirana.
playing support roaming Mirana. Yes, you see it here first on the Beyond Summit World Tour. You ain't seeing this anywhere else.
This is that experimentation, It's the beauty of this event.
My body's not ready for this.
Your body may not be ready, but this cat's most certainly is. So Fluff and stuff going to be handling that Mirana. I expect the other support. Sentry Ward's already picked up, as well as the Courier for him. Big investment in those support items for Complexity off the bat. Jayo will be farming on that Tinker. Hannah Montana. Looks like it will be a farming Tidehunter. Probably, I guess he'll be in the off lane. We're going to have to see. Like you said, the lane's a bit curious.
The thing is, they're going to do
and TC on the Tiny. And he's got the Glacial Skin. Very important to note. This thing is badass. Sorry, Libby. Go ahead. Yeah,
Disruption and Arrow is a roaming combo. Quote-unquote combo. If you could land it off, it's a kill. So that's what they're going to be looking for. It's going to be tough because I'm sure Absolute Legend's going to be expecting that as well. But Music's going to be playing the Windrunner again. On the mid lane here, we have Shaitan, Hot Lunch, playing the Queen of Pain solo mid. It's going to be a Goda, perhaps offensive jungling. We'll see. or maybe he's going to be sending a creep back. Monkey Bear, or excuse me, Smoky Bear, sorry, is going to be playing this Rubik on support. And we have Bleak playing Chaos Knight.
Yeah, it looks like it might be an offensive pseudo tri-lane here with the Chen and the...
No, he's sending a...
Well, he could just be sending a creep back. We'll have to see, but Rubik heading up top. Looks like Godot is going to go up towards the top lane.
Yeah.
Maybe? Is he just trolling us? No, he is going to head top, so it will be an offensive pseudo tri-lane here. I say pseudo because the Chen will be in the jungle, but he can always show up to the lane. And between Chen, Rubik, and Chaos Knight, this is a pretty strong offensive tri-lane. But you're up against Shadow Demon, and that means if you ever try to initiate, he can always just disrupt that hero or the initiator and then turn things around in a hurry. So it's going to be tough to get kills in this lane.
Mirana with the double damage, looking for a big long arrow. Not going to find it anywhere. He's going to go to mid lane. Well, I'm not sure where she's going to get any kills. I think she has realized that the tri-lane is going to be on top, so she's basically rotating there. Shadow Demon, her partner in crime, in the position on the top, defensively at least so far. And if you guys don't know what this glacial skin on Tiny mean, well, wait for him to get his level of grow, and then you'll really see the awesome power of that.
Yeah, you just see a little blue glow now, but it gets a lot better once he levels up. 2-second stun onto IX Mike. They are going to make it go, and he's held up in the air by telekinesis. Oh, he's looking to be in a lot of trouble. Great creep off the bat, and I think they're going to get a first blood. Net to follow. Godot cleans that one up, and, well, I said he's strong defensively, but he is not that strong.
Oh, he can't be the one that's getting initiated on, that's for sure. DC not even dropping the avalanche. He realizes not going to save him for sure. DC's taking some big damage. Mirana in position. Now, if you're ever wondering why we don't see support Mirana, it's because, well, it's not that effective. But we'll see what this game's going to bring us this time around.
Yeah, over in the middle lane, we haven't talked about this a whole lot. It's Shaitan playing that Queen of Pain up against Jo on the Tinker. And for the moment, it's very even in terms of farm. Jo is the one taking more harassment, and early on, that's what you expect to see. But Jo very smartly going for the laser rocket build. You need the burst damage against Queen of Pain, and look at that level 2 laser. About a third of Queen of Pain's health just locked off immediately. At bottom, we do have Hannah Montana on the Tide up against Music on the Windrunner. We saw this same matchup previously, and it is a lane Windrunner will win, but at the same time, Tide can get some farm, or some levels, and that's really the main thing.
Yeah, last time I checked, tidehunter was able to keep up, or in the previous game, man, he was able to keep up in farm, so don't count Hannah out. And Hannah, of course, he was MVP in the last game, dropping out such key ravages. But for now, the action is happening on the top lane here. Tri-lane versus tri-lane, one of which is Tiny, Mirana, and a Shadow Demon. 6 up.
It's not the position you generally see Mirana in. She needs some levels, she needs some farm. She's not going to get anything. I mean, she's not the best babysitter. Her base damage is pretty low. Her animation's good. But you need those kills. I mean, that's why you pick Mirana. You pick her for the disruption, the arrow combo, especially when you're playing her as this roamer. It's fine for now. They only gave up 1 kill. But the question is, can they get anything going? Chen is punishing any attempts to pull here, just constantly farming that pull camp, denying it. And when you're playing a tri-lane and you can't pull, you're going to fall behind.
Yep. Right now we do see Fluff doing a very good job making sure that wave stacks, and it's going to go for another pull as Chen rearing his ugly head again. Meanwhile, initiation on TC, not just pulling him back. Again, fight over the creep camp, fight over the jungle, and here comes the anti-pull party. Yep. Man, such annoying play from Godot.
Oh,
again,
Godot.
Avalanche toss, leap forward here. Arrow is gonna miss. And are they going to get a couple last hits? They are going to get the kill. Meanwhile, TC in big trouble. He is fairly tanky. He is a strength hero at the end of the day. Smoky Bear taking some big shots here from Mirana. They're going to be fine. IX Mike's going to retreat. And yeah, that was just a free kill against Chen. And that was a big kill because now Mirana able to do a little bit of pulling action.
And it looks like Godot may have had enough. It's starting to see, that was only a level 2 avalanche. If you can hit the combo, leveling avalanche will give you that extra bit of burst. As they will take double avalanche damage if they're tossed up in the air. In that case, when you catch Chen out alone, these creeps were not in range to be considered for the toss. It does a lot of burst damage, and well, Chen's going to defensive jungle for now as a result.
And that means that the Chaos Knight, yeah, they could pull and they could go offensively if they want to do so. They could really effectively set up disruption into arrow combos with a lot more aggression. So yeah, that kill was absolutely huge for complexity.
It's been a very passive game aside from a bit of action up top. Definitely a change of pace for the previous game, but if you look at these lineups, this is not a surprise at all. When we hit the mid game, oh man, Queen of Pain, Chaos Knight, Rubik, Windrunner, so many exciting mid game heroes, and of course complexity. They've got a few of their own as well, the Mirana, the Tiny. the Taker, and always this Chen play a pleasure to watch, especially being handled by someone like Godot, who's just so consistent and good at it. I wonder if he'll go for a kill in the bottom lane. Hannah Montana's not 6 yet, and he's got a smoke. There's a ward, but it's about to die. Maybe he'll wait. This was a very early placed ward. They were expecting that defensive jungle, and they never got it. We didn't talk about this ward at all. But as soon as it dies, that's an opportunity for Godot to go gank.
Mirana started out on the bot lane expecting that as well. Unfortunately, they double guessed incorrectly and kind of pay for it. One of the wards not actually doing too much. Complexity, though, on the top lane, trying to get some pressure on. Again, I mean, even though the Avalanche Toss full combo would not do the damage, as long as you have that soul catcher,
you don't need it,
you don't need it. You don't actually need a combo off. It would just, nuke the hell out of everything. Fluff and stuff, checking the rune, or perhaps just rotating off. Unfortunately, he is going to be scouted as he tries to gank mid.
Yeah, and Fluff has actually managed to get enough gold for Boots, which I really think he needs. And action breaking out in the top lane. Bleak eats an avalanche. No toss. The levitation, telekinesis throwing him back in the air. Arrow to follow. Will it hit correctly? Oh, Smokey Bear thought about blocking. It gets out of the way, and then Bleak jukes up and dodges it. It is kind of tough to hit that long-range arrow with the perfect timing. Nice escape there by AL. They definitely dodged the bullet.
It's really tough. That disruption and that arrow should come off around the same time. Of course, it depends on the distance. Sometimes you even have to fire off the arrow before the disruption even casts it. But yeah, it's a tough one to coordinate, and that's why I was like, roaming Mirana, even if you have disruption set up, it's not going to be that effective.
Well, it's got the potential, but it's not guaranteed the way that a split earth disruption is, or even an avalanche disruption. We've seen Lina comboed as well, and they're gonna make it go on the middle lane, but Smokey Bear is that one up. Just all the animals in this game today, and Jayo's gonna survive.
There's a frog courier, which by the way I think is the best unupgraded courier because he hops like a bounce around. Invisible Queen of Pain does see Mirana. Is he gonna go for the kill? Does she have the ultimate? She does.
She's actually Fluff is leveling up Arrow. I'm surprised when he hasn't been getting these kills that he's going for. It is, of course, if you don't hit the arrow, it doesn't do anything for you. It just shows you how committed they are to this ganking, and Shaitan makes a go. Not going to get it. Forced to back off. But still threatening to kill. And well, it forces the TP in from Hannah Montana, who now wants to make something of it. So they're going to smoke. They're going to look to go top. And this could be a huge engagement for Complexity. Disruption to start. Soul Catcher to follow. Arrow flying through. This one's going to hit. Smokey Bear gets ripped apart. But in the end, it's only one kill so far, and they used a smoke and a TP for it, so you get the experience, but in terms of gold, it's pretty much nothing.
Oh, tidehunter's gonna come in, he's gonna hit the gush, and are we gonna use a Ravage? Yes, we are! Huge play, huge committance for this one kill. Will Bleak actually die, though? Yes, he will. Anchor Smash getting the last kill, and if they get the tier 1, I think it's completely worth it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, for 2 kills, and of course, tidehunter angrily yelling out all the curse words against Kunkka. Can they cut that off? I mean, are they mature individuals?
No, they're like one of them's the little brother. Actually, who is the little brother? I guess Kunkka is because he's smaller, but I don't know. Maybe he's just his growth was stunted. I wonder what I haven't read the lore behind Tidehunter, but I feel like there's got to be an interesting story there. Either way, they are always fighting. I gotta say though, I mean. It turned out great for Complexity. I actually moved the camera away because I saw Fast Knight back off. I figure there's no way he runs back in, but I guess he didn't know Tide was there as he was still smoked, and they had to kill an unexpected one at that.
Yeah, and of course the tier 1 fail, that was a big thing, and Windrunner on the bot lane was not able to push down anything throughout that, so very unfortunate. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain out of mana in the mid lane. Well, she does have a regen rune. Mirana getting some levels, and level 5 gonna go back to Starstorm, so maybe heard what you talked about. And I guess arrow is the thing you want to mention if you are, like, again, landing those disruption arrow combos, like, every day, but they hit one so far.
Right, if you can hit arrow, I mean, generally it is the better spell to level, but that's the thing, is it's not reliable. Still, it was a great long-range arrow in that previous fight. Fluff now is Boots. In terms of item progression, and since it's a very slow game, let's see how everyone's doing. Phase Boots up on Musica. Aside from that, Power Treads on Chaos Knight, really no big item pickups yet. I saw one Phase Boots over on the Dire spot, I believe that's the Tiny. The TC's got his, and he's actually not taking a point in the ult. We see some players like to max toss and get the ult early, and just you have the guaranteed big toss damage. TC is more focused on the combo here. He's gonna looks like he's gonna max Avalanche and toss before going back to the ult.
Yeah, I think this is a big, a better choice as well, because you have the setup. You have the setup from disruption, so your spells are going to count a little bit more. in that sense. So getting the the cooldown of the toss and the fact that you could do more damage with the higher level toss does matter. Meanwhile, Fluff and Stuff doing a support Mirana is buying wards. Somehow has got a magic bottle as well. She's rich.
I don't understand my world right now, to be honest. TCTP's in, he's gonna avalanche arrowhead toss to follow. Shackle not gonna hit. Look at the burst damage, and that was without a soul catcher. Just no chance for that poor Chen.
Goda, who generally plays one of the best Chen in the world in terms of his assists, kills, and death ratio. Unfortunately, in this game, kind of on the wrong receiving end of that. Tiny gets off a haste rune. He got his face. He's going 40 drums, of course. And you see Smokey Bear, and that's Smokey Bear right now. Actually, it will be fine.
Yeah, telekinesis is a real nice way to shut him down. Hold him in the air, throw him back, and even with the haste, it's dangerous to dive that tower, especially if they'll TP anyone in. So in the end, it's still, he's controlling the runes, he's setting up ganks, he's level 7 now. He's gonna have that bracer soon, not too far away from a drum, and Tiny with phase and drum, as well as the ult giving him move speed, he's actually quite fast. Pretty nice way to counter a lot of these Radiant heroes who are very mobile in their own right.
Yeah, for the viewers at home, if you're used to watching a Blink Dagger Arcane Boost Tiny, if you're wondering what this build is about and why you want to go for this type of build, well, what it really does, it forces the enemy's hand. Like, if you don't burst down Tiny, he will just kill everybody. He can't have the movement speed to catch up. In between phase and Arcane Boost, phase, drums, and the fact that Grow does give you movement speed as well, you're moving basically at max speed. And of course, he either right-clicks really hard or he just flat-out kill people out of his combo. So it basically forced enemy to focus him, and I mean he's a fairly tanky hero. He could let off his combo before he dies. It's a great build if you want to try something a little bit different from the standard Blink and Arcanes.
Yeah, and also because this Tiny is a good start, look for complexity to try and have that Tiny sort of pave the way for Jo here. We already seen him set up a couple of kills. Continue to apply the pressure and make room for Jo to farm, to gank. With the Tiny having this great start, with Tidehunter already having Ravage and level 7. It's a much better situation for Tinker than it otherwise would be, because he doesn't have to be in the front lines. Jo can show up late to fights. He's got the burst damage as well, and he can kind of stay in the back lines, deal the damage, not take any of the pressure. I'll have to find a way to get to that Tinker. I mean, we've seen Tiny as the real powerhouse so far, but when the mid game comes, Tinker is going to be pumping out an insane amount of damage in his own right.
I've just been notified that the VODs of the first series are already up on dotacommentaries.com. So if you guys are missed it and want to check it out afterwards, well, they are ready for you. Shout out to all the people that are doing the hard work. I'm trying to go see it, and I don't see the VODs. Are they trolling me? They are.
In terms of the replays, I believe some of them may not be ready just yet, but if they're not up, we'll talk to Valve. We'll get that sorted out for you guys. They will be available in the relatively near future, and of course, in the meantime, if you just can't wait, you can always check out the VODs. I believe that's the Twitch TV VODs that will be up right away. We'll also have some YouTube VODs for you guys as well. For all the matches that are played, no matter what, they will be uploaded somewhere. So if you miss any of the action, you can check all that out. Some of them may be on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/LDdota. Some of them may be on Lumi's, or perhaps even on God's. They're youtube.com/luminousinverse and youtube.com/godstudios. Connecting to Dota 2 Network. Since it seems like we're going to have a prolonged pause, my bladder is about to explode, so I will be right back, Lumi.
Thank you for sharing that information. I'm sure me and the viewers...
You don't want me to die on stream, right?
You could just leave silently and be like, okay.
Yeah, then you're like, where's LD? It's awkward. Now you know.
Now I know, and the rest of the world does as well. Good time to check out item progression and what it's saying. Dota Gaming YouTube. All right, cool. Yeah, there's actually nothing big. Everybody's just buying their small pieces. I guess 10 minutes in, nobody's really farming that well. It's definitely been a lot more rotations all over the map. If you check the exact farm, which I know LD can't check it for you, I'll read it off. We got 61 creep kills on Musica, who hasn't actually left the bot lane at all, and has been relatively getting free farm. He's the most farmed hero on the map, and he's only got a headdress. In terms of actual gold, he's got 700 in the bank as well. Shaitan not doing too bad, got 50 creep kill in 10 minutes. And meanwhile, TC matching it fairly decently, 42. Tidehunter's only got 26. JO's got only 30, so JO's actually getting manhandled in the mid lane. And it's not like he got ganked too often. I think we saw Rubik coming out there once. Mirana's got 8 creep kills, but most of which are neutral. But Mirana is 1-0 and 3, so I mean, least getting a lot of assist goals, and that's the reason why she was able to pick up boots, bottle, and wards for the team. That is the awesome thing. Mirana warding it up.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's been overall very successful so far for Fluff and stuff. 1-0-3, 8-2 in terms of the creeps. Like you said, it's not a lot of farm, and overall, AL are crushing in terms of that farm. 60 CS from Musica. That's a lot. That's almost 6 CS a minute. Not quite the max that you can get. That would be 8 per minute for the first 10 minutes or so, but it's still great farm for him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to destroy a tier 1 tower or anything like that, but hey, that's all good. That's all good.
So as the pause continues, I'm taking a look at the gold graph, experience graph, any of the screens we haven't seen yet. We're ready to go, and overall it is a bit of a lead for the Radiant, but not a huge one. I have to say, I feel like both teams are okay with the way the game is going, but particularly Complexity. With so many heroes that need farm and levels, they're handling this early game quite well.
They are. I mean, when we saw Mirana and Tide and all that stuff, we're like, how the hell they're gonna lane this? And yeah, they're holding it fairly decently. And Complexity will only get stronger. As odd as Mirana's support sounds, like she is gonna be a DPS hero to consider in the late game. Like you can't ever ignore her because she's gonna be useful regardless. At the very least, she's gonna give her team a leap bonus. Leap bonus is a drum charge. Come on, look at it that way. And well, Shadow, I mean that's useful.
Yeah, it's true. Leap is it's actually a very decent buff for the team. But as far as items go, Mirana, action on the top lane, 4-second stun onto IX Mike, and the Purge onto Bleak, really slowing him down. Disruption's still available. Is he going to get it off? He does on the cast. I don't think it's going to be enough. 1 or 2 more right clicks should do it. The blink forward. IX Mike, despite the defensive power of that Disruption, just cannot get away. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Ravage, arrow on the Music, the Chen heal canceling it out. Shackle shot he's looking for. Is he going to find it? Power shot is going to clean that one up. Over aggression by Complexity. Punished. 2 kills for AL. And well, AL has to be feeling good about that. The Shadow Demon, it took a while to kill him, I have to say.
Yeah, man, that's a power of Chen, being able to support your teammate from across the map, and we just saw the best use of that. Tier 1 tower is going to get destroyed on the bot lane. Eventually, Mirana hopefully going for the deny, but so many stuns raining in from the other side, so he's going to be very careful. That was a big swing, 2 kills and a tier 1 tower for basically nothing lost. Huge win here for the Radiant squad.
Oh, Shackle to start. It's going to hit on Fluff. What a Shackle. And pulls him back in. Just incinerated by that Quaffle. Purge going the other way. They want Shaitan. Soul Catcher not going to hit. Stun in on IX Mike. His power shot's going to bring him down, actually. A lot of burst damage here. It's AL who seem to have a bit more of it right now. Musical will pay, but in the end, 2 for 1. And they get the Mirana. Well, it's a support Mirana. Normally getting the Mirana is a bigger deal. But still, they get 2 for 1. They're going to be happy with that trade.
Man, that was a 6 Shackle to start it up, and now suddenly the Dire just lost 4 kills in a row. They only got 1 in return. TC does have a regen rune in bottle, still no level of grow yet, so we cannot see his glacial whatever skin, but I'm looking forward to that. They're looking to a little bit of a tier 1 push. They can use Toss to do a little bit of extra damage, shoot a tower if that's what they want to go for. Meanwhile, Blue on top lane here, already pressuring the tier 1 tower as well, forcing TPs here and there.
Yeah, good job by Godot. He knows he can't... I mean, Chen is not a hero who could just TP down and contribute in a major way to a fight. He doesn't have mech up, all he's got is arcane boots, and most importantly, you can't TP your creep army with you. So he's making the best of the situation, going for the split push. He forces 1 TP back. Atri is apparently upset about frogs. I'm not sure what that's all about, but let's focus on the bottom lane, where we see Tidehunter in a headlong retreat. Shackle shot, are they going to get it? Reality Rift canceled, actually not going to get in range, going to back off. They're worried about the defensive TPs. The Tinker, does he have boots to travel yet? No boots to travel, but maybe thought he had them. Either way, they're going to play it safe. That was a great time to fight Lumi, because there was no Ravage. But now, if they want to fight,
I completely agree, and
it's going to be up.
I need to take the call.
So here we go. Looks like a bit of a contest for the rune, but Complexity have asserted themselves. TC bottles that up. Drum complete on him. Phase boots as well, and an Invis rune. This is going to be a very scary rock, and he's about to get his ult, which means that Toss will be hitting harder, the auto attacks will be better, and he moves faster. You do get an attack speed decrease, but your auto attacks and your Toss just do so much more damage. So overall, expect the burst damage to only ramp up. Fluff is finding some farm here as we approach the mid game. And this is, when you run these 4 farming hero lineups, or even 5 heroes, if you can get through the mid game in okay shape, you'll find the space to farm. Whether it's pushing the lane, oh, they're gonna make a go and just instantly burning down Smokey Bear. Avalanche toss, no real time to even cast that one. The burst damage so strong. Well, when you see Tiny pick up the invis, you really got to play it safe. But unfortunately, safe means behind your tier 1, possibly towards your base. Fluff looking for an arrow. He's got the magic wand and a smoke picked up. Fluff going all in on this roaming ganking style. Very exciting, unusual way to play it. So far, it's working out. Arrow gonna fly in, not quite hitting Shaitan. Musical looking for Shackle. Shackle not gonna ledge. Oh, that was real close, just out of range. Blink in from Shaitan. Drops the scream. Will it be enough? Doesn't look like it. TC throws a defensive avalanche out. Chase continue the other way. Musical looking for an opening. Not gonna find it. TP comes in. Fluff and stuff. Actually, oh, there you go. That's Jo, and now he's got his boots of travel. Any attempt to tower dive, any attempt to gank, to be aggressive, it's going to be a lot more dangerous because Jo can always TP in with level 4 rockets as well as the level 4 laser and do a lot of burst damage. Musical on the high ground. Will he find the shackle? This could be huge. He's not going to. Avalanche toss the Chen. Heal the purge. Set back to base. They do bring Musical down. It took a lot, but they get him. And they're not done. Just said disruption. Soul Catcher as well. Bleak in a lot of trouble. Actually, the Soul Catcher didn't hit him. He's on the back foot. Only 1 point stack. Gush to follow. They're still continuing the chase. Fluff leaps in, cancels that Starstorm. Wasn't going to hit the first time. Toss in. Look at the chase of complexity. I said it was the Radiant who have it, but meanwhile Chen gets melted up. Double kill for TC. Man, he's been having some good games with Tiny recently, and after all is said and done, 3 kills for the cost of a Ravage and a couple of other less important ultimates. Great engagement for complexity. And well, Shaitan, born for boots of travel, but he just can't join these fights. He's too easy to bring down. And it looks like Lumi is still on the phone, not quite back with me yet, so let's take a look. How are we doing in terms of golden experience? Still pretty even overall. I feel like for this Radiant squad, Ale is not quite getting the start they want. Shackle onto Hannah Montana, creep to hero. Great job, the chain stun, the levitation, bringing him back. Will it be enough? What a stun to finish him off. Actually, he canceled that Centaur stun, then reused it. They're actually, the Mirana ult has been used. Moonlight Shadow is up. Is AO gonna fight? No. It's hard to say. No, they're not going to commit to this. All the while, TC just farming in the top lane. He's going what looks to be a Yasha, or maybe, actually, sorry, this will probably be an Aghanim. Could be a Yasha, though, for that extra mobility and attack speed, which is not bad on Tiny, to be honest, but most likely will be the Aghanim, just to give you that crazy strong cleave and additional damage. Also makes you a fantastic pushing hero. So, if he gets the Aghanims up and Complexity ever wins a team fight, towers are going to melt, and they're going to melt in a hurry.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, it gives him, basically makes him a semi-low range hero. He is going to be cleaving for, what, 50%, I want to say, in 400 range. That is pretty insane as well. And yeah, again, same build for TC. Phase, drums, Acceptor into AC. No change.
Overall, it's been a pretty passive mid game, and I feel like Complexity is playing the tempo they want right now. Lumi. When they go for kills, they have the Ravage up. When they don't have the Ravage, they're not really. The AO's not really pushing the issue, and then the Ravage comes back up. Complexity smokes. They go for another kill, and then they farm while they're waiting. So I feel like right now, Complexity is playing exactly the style they want to, and it's up to AL to kind of disrupt that tempo and get something going on their own side.
And it might not seem like it, like Complexity deceptively have really, really powerful late game. Tiny is a late game hero when you're going for a build like this. Of course, Tinker is a very, very late game hero, considering that he could, I mean, inventory when you're buying Hexes, Shivas, and all that stuff, and Force Staff as well, like your late game. And, I mean, Tide, Mirana, they're not bad semi-carries on their own right, so.
Oh, they want Jo.
My goodness! Jo just melted. Meanwhile, the Ravage does hit, nice mech and the Hand of God coming in. So they traded 1 for 1, but that was well worth it, getting rid of that Tinker. And forcing the Ravage coming out, that was huge.
Yeah, Tinker, let's see, does he have something on the Courier? No, just the Boots of Travel. So, I mean, he got them, they were a bit late, they weren't horribly late, but no real item progression since then. He has spent a lot of time pushing these lanes out. Well, and I guess the idea here for AL, Shaitan goes for the Boots of Travel. They want to pick off the Tinker, and that, you know, that mobility of the Boots of Travel maybe allows you to do so. You can also be sent back to base by Chen and then immediately rejoin the fight. There are some cool effects to having that, but so far I feel like the potential has not fully been realized. Still a very big kill. They need to keep that Tinker down. They also need to worry about this Tiny, though, and speaking of the Tiny, I mean, let's talk about Fluff. He's got Shreds up, he's getting some farm now, and he had nothing to start the game.
I mean, the thing is, he's farming for, well, nice blink in here against Fluff. Is Fluff gonna eat an ultimate? Nope. You're gonna turn it back as Avalanche Toss comes in, and immediately Queen of Pain dies. You talked about it earlier. If she ever misses a blink, she's dead, and that's exactly what we saw. And now TC has another 1,000 gold in the bank, ever so close to the X Scepter.
Well, the one thing I want to point out is she was aggressive there. Normally you might see 4 or 5 heroes, but they have to back because March the Machine spam in that top lane. Pushing it a lot. Murata's been pushy as well. Tiny has been on top of it. They just can't get grouped up. AO can't go for these bigger ganks because they need someone to defend. And when you have the boots of travel, suddenly you're the team with more mobility. Whereas before it might have been the Radiant. So I feel like Complexity just executing the strategy to absolute perfection right now. It's only 11-8, but it feels like Complexity are fully in command of the way this game is progressing.
So if you're on the Radiant side, like, what do you go for? What do you do?
Well, they have the mech up. The Dire do seem to be pretty reliant on the burst and nuke damage. Sure, Tiny can auto-attack, but he is a melee hero. You have some slows and stuns to deal with him. I think you need a BKB on this Chaos Knight. Or just for him to get huge. And right now, he's not. Ogre Club, Shreds, Drum, it's good farm. It's not insane. We're 20 minutes in now, and he hasn't picked up a big item yet. Sitting on 71.
Tiny hasted. Backstabbing 3 here. Avalanche arrow does hit as well, and now what he does, how did nobody die there? And now the Shackle against TC. Look at the huge Sonic Wing on 3. Hannah's gonna go down. Tiny's gonna go down. I guess that's what you do. You backstab, you anti-gank, you anti-team fight. Man, that was a huge win. And suddenly they're going for the tier 2 on the mid. Huge win for Absolute Legend.
It's so dangerous to try and force the issue against the Chen because they heal the Holy Persuasion. He can turn the fight around in a hurry, and he didn't even have to use the heal there. But they get Jo. They're not done yet. Alem just completely turned this game around, or at least it feels like in the space of a minute here or so. And are they done yet? They could go for Roshan. They could continue pushing mid. They have 30 seconds, and Jo doesn't have buyback for 27 of those. We'll have to see how AL play it. Looks like it'll be the push for them. Phantasm is up. Actually, it's a level 2 Phantasm, so he can have 3 illusions. Very quickly pushing this tower down. Are they even going to stop? Maybe they'll even try threaten high ground here. Try and force a buyback.
I don't think you.
Well, the Ravage...
Yeah, Ravage is back up, and
yeah,
going up against a heal against Ravage and Tinker Marching Machine is a little bit too difficult, but they are going to back up. But suddenly Blake had 0 gold before that team fight, now has a Mithril Hammer to show for it. So you said that he needs a BKB. Well, he's going to get towards it very, very soon. And of course, we have a Smoky Bear playing the support Rubik up to 1,000, so he can start getting support items for his team. Goldot's got the pipe for his team as well. Mech was picked up by windrunner. I know it was the Chaos Knight and all that stuff that did all the dirty work, but how important is that mech on the team? The Hand of God and mech combo, it's huge. It's
been huge. They actually didn't even use Hand of God in that fight. I thought they did, but it was just the mech that turned it. TC gets initiated on. He's got the Aghanim's, but it's not with him. It's in the base. Don't think it would have mattered there, but might have made a difference. Blink pulls him back in, going on to Musica. Look at the damage on the IX Mike, just gets obliterated there. And AO are just, Complexity were playing their style, and suddenly it's AO controlling the tempo. Jo in a lot of trouble. He's going to go for the TPL power shot. Reality Rift, just enough burst to burn him down. Guys, if you're wondering, Reality Rift does not cancel TPs, but during that channel time, if you pull him in, you get that 1 auto attack off. It could be the difference maker, and right there it was.
Yep, and of course, great power shot from Music, giving the sight as well. As Tinker was trying to use the small trees to give him that, the benefit of the TP. Unfortunately, did not happen. Of course, Queen of Pain, look, gets gold up to already enough for that Mystic Staff. So if Hexes gets picked up online as well, that's going to be the difference maker. Bleak, ever so close, that BKB, just 600 go away. And what item does the Dire team have to show for it? Hannah's got the mech.
And the Aghanim's on the Tiny. That's really it.
Okay, alright, that's it. And Tinker has maybe a 4. No, she has a Staff of Wizardry. That's all they have. Mirana have a Medallion Courage, but
it's a nice.
It's not bad for Tiny.
It's good if they can get into Roshan as well. It'll help them with that. But the question is, when are they going to find that opening? Because so far, I mean, if they try and go into Roshan right now, it's going to be very dangerous to do so. Shackle Shot, the Queen of Pain ultimate. Just the burst damage of the Chaos Knight. And this is where Chaos Knight shines. I mean, as good as Shadow Demon is at dealing with him early game, he does struggle in the mid game. It's hard to disrupt when he's used his ultimate. You can try and disrupt yourself, but it's kind of delaying the inevitable if you can't burst the Chaos Knight down. And we saw him just chew that IX Mike apart in the space of like 2 seconds there. So it's a good mid game lineup here for AL, and You know, I gotta credit them for farming so much in the early game, even when they were behind. Look at their creep scores now. 4 heroes with a lot of farm. 100 CS plus on 2, and then 80 plus on another 2. Everybody's getting some items, whereas for complexity, in the farm department, they are quite far behind.
Yeah, they're concentrating all their farm on TC and perhaps on Hannah, but the Hannah specifically, like, he's not going to be a hero that's going to dominate in the mid to late game. He's getting mostly support items because, well, Mirana and Shadow Demon is having a tough time on their own game as well. Yeah, TC really need to get his assault as soon as possible, but even when you get the assault, like, is that enough? Do you need to get a perhaps even a BKB or something else on top of that?
My concern here for the Tiny is that he'll be kited in these fights. He's got a decent amount of burst edge. Oh, what an arrow onto Musica. Leap in as well, Soul Catcher, but they're not able to get down onto the low ground, so Musica's gonna get away. And this
She's taking a lot of damage though, but no big deal, yeah.
This is the concern for complexity. They're pretty reliant on burst damage, especially Mirana not having many items. Jayo, he's not close to any sort of utility or disables. He's got a Force Staff, no Hex, no Yules for him. If complexity can't burst this Radiant squad down, I feel like they don't have a chance.
Again, that's what it feels on paper, and that's why earlier I said, like, complexity has deceptively more. They have deceptively more late game than you give them credit for. Like, Tiny is a big late game, and the Tinker is a big late game as well. I don't want to count them out. I've seen them in this situation.
They're not
so
out
many
by
times.
any means.
Complexity always does this. We have a good start, and then they have a rough mid game, and they just slowly hang on. Sometimes by the skin of their teeth, but they hang on, and they usually just carry it out late game with a big TC Tiny. Now we're very, very far away from that point. I don't think they're in any sort of dominating position, but it starts with a Tiny picking by Invisor maybe.
Well, and one hero that can definitely set up for that Tiny is the Tidehunter. He's got a mechanism, Arcane Boots. This Tide is getting a lot of farm. Hannah Montana. I mean, I mentioned how overall the Ale is farming better on the Radiant, but still, there are some heroes that are getting that farm. We talked about the Tiny. Mirana's got something. She's got the Medallion, the Treads, not a whole lot. Blade of Alacrity. If the game goes long enough, they have some good options. They have backup for the Tiny, but it's a question of getting there. It's really the burst damage right now. Will that be enough to tide complexity over until they can get to the late game? And so far, if it continues at the current pace, it just might be. In terms of Ale, though, it's big item pickups. 2,900 gold on Musica, already 4-staff mechanism, phase boots. We looked at the Cast Knight, BKB, drums, treads. They are getting a lot of items and doing so in a hurry. It's both teams have that potential. So ultimately, I think it is going to come down to execution. Who gets the jump in these team fights? And certainly having a hero like Tide, having a hero like Cast Knight with a BKB, these can be game-changing heroes if they get that initiation off.
Seems like this is going to be a tier 2 push on the bot lane here, and Hannah running very low in terms of mana. He's going to Arcane pop the bottle and maybe sell the bottle for a TP. We'll see what he does. He does have his 15 charges on the wand as well, so it should be okay, and looks like we're going to have a big fight over for the tier 2. Are we going to see the toss initiate? Toss Ravage combo? Or are we going to see just a standard good old walking in for a Ravage?
Are they going to smoke?
TC's invis. So maybe you...
Uh-oh. TC circling around, there's a Sentry Ward. I think that's actually a Dire on instead of Radiant one. Not sure. Either way, BKB, top JO. The Ravage hitting a lot of heroes. Bleak in the thick of things, but that Purge is making him very difficult. The Ravage was stolen by Rubik. Oh man, steals the Ravage, turns the fighter out. Still, so far, nobody has died. 2 Ravages, 0 deaths. And everyone's just gonna back off. I cannot believe my eyes. I thought he had a refresher. I was so confused there.
No, that was, yeah, you're right. 2 Ravages, absolutely no death. And TC went in for the backstab, but the pipe was up, so that was, all damage nullified. But I think this is time to go into Roach Pit, and that's exactly what Complex is doing. They force away 3 or 4 TPs, and here we go.
And this is where that Medallion will really help out, as well as TC's base damage. With the Hyperstone going for the Assault Cars, they're going to bring this down fast. And it looks like Ale can't contest it. I don't see what they can do here. They need that.
And TC with the Aegis will be a lot more front and center when it comes down to right clicking. And they have realized it, but a little bit too late. TC picks it up immediately. At this point in the game, it's hard to actually say who's really ahead. I think the Radiant was ahead by winning a team fight convincingly, but now it's hard to say as we have more item being picked up. Whenever Tidehunter has his Ravage, I feel like they're in a decent position. The question is, if you're Rubik, are you just holding on to that Ravage?
Well. I think you are. I mean, it's up in a minute, right? What are you really going to steal that's comparable? I don't think there's anything. Now, generally, on Rubik, you don't want to just sit on one big ultimate, especially if it's something like Black Hole with a 3-minute cooldown. Shackle Shot not going to latch, make it go on JO here. TP is cancelled. I think that's the Queen of Pain's Boots of Travel. Arrow flies through, hits Musica. Will they actually make it go? They're thinking about it. Sent back to base. Do they have the burst to bring him down? They do not. But these arrows have been on point. So, what did you ask me again? Oh man.
Yeah, I was wondering if you hold on to the Ravage, and I guess...
I think you do.
Normally you don't want to
point,
do so. Yeah, normally you don't want to do so, because generally there are better spells to steal, but what are we stealing here? An arrow? Like a Moonlight Shadow? You're not stealing anything, like, absolutely better.
Right. Well, the thing is...
I think you do hold on to it.
The thing is, the cooldown is low enough that if you just sit on one big ultimate, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities to steal other spells. But in this case, if you're not team fighting, you might as well. And let's see, how much longer does he have Ravage for? He's got it for... He's going to have it for like a minute. How long is that? 2 minutes or so? That's a long time to set up a fight.
Not bad, yeah.
I gotta say, I have to criticize Hannah Montana a little bit here because, well, not to criticize him, but when you're Tidehunter, you really want to make sure you hit the Rubik with Ravage, and it's a spell with such a large AoE, unless Rubik has a BKB.
He did hit him with the Ravage, and also we had TC follow up with the Avalanche. There's no reason that Hannah should have gave away. Anchor Smash or
you
Gush.
should immediately Anchor Smash. So he might have been disabled. I didn't. It was such a chaotic fight. I couldn't tell, but it's something. More importantly, moving forward, Hannah Montana really needs to make sure that he gets off that Anchor Smash directly after the Ravage, or it's going to cost them big time. I mean, nobody died in that fight, but especially if AO get up these next items, the Scythe is up on the Queen of Pain. The BKB's been up. About to have another Scythe on the Windrunner. It's just a 2,000 gold or so. If they get the Ravage, that's going to be enough lockdown to really punish Complexity.
Yep. TC, by the way, does have his Assault and just a couple of 100 gold. Yep, after he clear out this camp, he should have it soon. And again, it's not enough. I think they're going to just keep farming for more. If your name is Complexity, you just keep waiting for them to come at you, right? You're this break wall, and they have to break you, and you're slowly getting more and more farm as the game increases. And TC perhaps using his team, the knowledge that his team is behind him for a bait. You can see that right now Shadow Demon hiding for himself, defensively getting ready to set up counter ganks. And Mirana just running around. Yeah, and Mirana's farming for Purge Blade. I like these late game applications. Now, Purge Blade is not the most useful late game item, but it's an item you could get that could give you a lot of utility, especially if you're not going for DPS, and it's not bad.
Right, this Purge will allow the Tiny to keep on right-clicking. I talked earlier about how Tiny can be kited because he is a melee hero. He doesn't have a blink or anything like that, or a Force Staff. So TC could be kited, but the Diffusal is really going to help mitigate that quite a bit. So I love this pickup. Plus, it's got a good build-up. It's cheap, and if you're playing to support Mirana, who doesn't get a whole lot of farm for most of the game, well, it's a nice item to pick up.
Yep. If you ever really need to do it, I guess you could instant pop a Phantasm Illusion, although not exactly the best use of your...
There's too many. There's too many once he hits level 16. Yeah. You can pop one, but Purge will instantly kill them, but it's not enough. There's still 3 more wailing on you.
And we had our answer. We have a question answered. Smoky Beard did hold on to that Ravage for a long time, and now it timed out. So maybe that was what Complexity was waiting for as well.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, they have our Ravage.
Maybe we shouldn't fight now. Seems like a smart, reasonable decision. But either way, just such an itch. This game has been so many periods fascinating. There's just periods of intense action with 4 to 10 heroes involved. I mean, even early on, then we have these long periods where teams are just farming, and it's a very kind of back and forth roller coaster ride of the game. But it's not a constant up and down. It's just sort of like a flat line for a while, and then all of a sudden the game spikes back up, and then you're crashing back down. So it's hard in this situation. It's very easy to lose focus for both teams, and to me, that's the most important thing. You have to keep wards up on the map. You have to stay aware of where your opponents are at all times. It becomes a test of stamina as much as it does individual skill.
And also, I feel like, both teams are justified in the fact they're not doing too much. Again, if you're Complexity, you're just waiting for the late game. You could take the fight whenever, when you're 5 and you have your Tidehunter Ravage and whatnot. Perhaps they're making for a tier 2 look on the bot lane. And if you're Radiant, you're constantly looking for the pick-off. You have a Hex, you have a Chaos Knight, great gangers, of course. Smoky Bear's Rubik is not too bad. And I think they might be looking for a smoke gang up top, but they are going to see a big push coming on their way on bot.
Well,
Here we
complexity.
go. We are gonna have a fight right now.
Oh, they have a pipe as well as a mech. There's no wards here covering the backside. IX Mike is going to plop one down. Might not be in time, though. Oh, I'm not sure that ward placement's going to be enough. They're making it go on IX Mike. He sees the Moonlight Shadows use Bleak. In the thick of things, the BKB is popped. They don't have a direct answer for IX Mike. Gets chopped up to bits. Bleak somehow is dropping, though. Look at how hard Tiny is hitting. Smokey Bear steals the Anchor Smash, not able to get the Ravage. Hannah Montana holds on to it. Crucial play by him. They get the Chen. They're going to continue the chase. Musica on the back foot, forced to run away. He's so close to his sight device. Would be a horrible time to die. I think he's going to make it out of there, but after all is said and done, successful Ravage, 3 heroes killed off, and now they can go for the tier 2. And well, if these heroes don't buy back, they may be able to go for Rex.
Successful Ravage and the Anchor Smash immediately. Click onto that Rubik and see what skill he has right now. This is why you never really expect Rubik to steal anything good like a big AoE ultimate, because players, they're just too good for that. Immediate teamfight victory. You talked about how, you know, Chaos Knight can carry, but I can't. Apparently not against TC's Tiny, because he's out damaging all of them. The Phantasm Illusions dive very quickly to the splash, and TC, the biggest carry at the end of the fight, and he is going to be going for Blacking Bar. He is going to have in 1300 gold. That is the correct item. I mean, what are you going to do when you BKB?
Right, nothing.
You're splashing for.
You're going to run
nothing.
for your life.
You can't. Exactly.
There's no answer for it. I mean, I guess the Chen can try and send someone back to base and sort of wait it out. Windrun can run away, maybe force staff out, but there's no direct counter. They don't have a way to just man up versus him. And that means that Complexity can play very aggressively. But yeah, great play there by Hannah Montana, getting the Anchor Smash off, having that presence of mind. Rubik was just patiently trying to bait the Ravage out and steal it right away. But you just see how hard it is to steal Ravage. Something like Black Hole you could definitely look to steal. Sometimes even Panda ult if you're quick enough once he reforms. But Ravage is just, the AoE is just so huge. By the time you have to stay out of the range of Ravage and then walk in, and you just don't have the time to do it. It's where maybe you want a Blink Dagger, Force Staff, or a BKB to let you either jump in quickly or just be magic immune so you can steal it. But nice play by Hannah Montana. If they had stolen the Ravage, might have been a very different fight. But he holds onto it and they win it.
Yep, and after that fight, we're going to see a little bit more item progression. Another 1300 gold here for Mirana. IX Mike picking up a gem. No, that was a gem that the other team had, so he's upgrading boots and whatever else. Hannah with the pipe mech finish. Such an important hero to kill from the get-go, but Kraken Shell makes him a very, very bad choice to actually focus him. He might actually go for Shiva's guard. And yeah, BKB.
He's also got a pipe and a mech, you know? I mean, yeah. Sure you want to kill him, but he's got Ravage. He's so tanky. He's too tanky. I mean, this is one of those situations where, like, generally, you know, ideally you want to split up the pipe and mech, especially if they're on squishier heroes like a Chen or something. Because if you stack them up at one hero and that hero gets burst down, well, then you have no pipe and mech in a big fight. Or they have to waste them on themselves. But in this case, it's a Tide. It's a level 17 Tide. This is a strong fish that nobody's bringing down with ease. And Ale on the low ground here. Oh, Complexity. Patented smoke yank. It doesn't seem like Ale is ready. Luby, this could be absolutely disastrous if they find the opening. But so far, they just haven't seen anyone. Smokey Bear. Uh-oh. Look at the wards that get slammed down. Complexity going for the backstab up top. Oh, I'm nervous right now if I'm AL.
Well, in fact, Tinker's going to be the one that's initiated Moonlight Shadow to use just from right now. Musica is going to be the choice. Avalanche toss him. Ravage going to be used. Queen of Pain pops the BKB. Everyone's still alive right now, but not for long. Laser Rocket for the kill. Shatan going for the kills, but look at the big hits from TC.
Oh my god.
That's all he needed. And
look at the damage on that Tiny. Good lord, that club hits hard.
Radiant's top tower
again,
is under attack.
Don't need Blink Arcane. Phase, Drums, Axe Scepter, AC. That's a real deal right here. Carry TC. And again, going back to what I said, I think I said it like 3-4 times already. Complexity deceptively have more late game than it seems, and it's showing right here. Once TC gets going, like, you don't stop him.
Well, they do. I agree with you. Their late game was a little bit deceptive, and of course it's the Mirana and Tinker as well, decent late game in their own right. But it's to me, it's less the heroes, and even more so just how well Complexity plays in this stage of the game. They're always very patient. They farm well while the Ravage is down. Then when the Ravage is up, they get aggressive. They smoke. They go for the gank. So I just feel like Complexity, the timing has been picture perfect. And for Ale, it's not even that Ale is playing bad. They just haven't found the openings. Complexity is not giving them any room to get those picks.
Man, you're saying picture perfect timing, but look, Tier 2 just died. Roshan's back. Let's go back to that. No time for the Absolute Legend to do anything. TC's going to have another Aegis. I mean, killing him once might be possible, but, you know, twice is asking for a little bit too much. A little bit too much.
Well, with this Roshan going on to TC, they can't even kill him once. Now they gotta kill him twice. The BKB, the right-click power, there's just no answer for it. I mean, Chaos Knight in theory can right-click hard, but his images just get cleaved up, and there hasn't been the item progression. It's one of Chaos Knight's weaknesses as a hero. As good of a ganker as he is, as much as he benefits from farm, he's not the best at getting that farm. There's no AoE, there's no flash farming ability. If you go for a Battle Fury, that can help answer some of your concerns. We've seen Bleak do it in the past. He didn't do it this game, and I'm not saying it was the wrong choice, but now we're seeing the results. He doesn't have the items he needs.
Results are interesting drawings on the minimap pointing towards the Dire base. Unfortunately, I don't think they are powerful enough to do kind of big ganks. I mean, if you have a Gwynsu, I gotta say, this is the most unused Gwynsu I've ever seen. Like, you actually haven't accomplished anything.
Which one?
Hex on Queen of Pain. Like, it didn't really set up key ganks or did anything big in a team fight. It's kind of what's just there for Mono Region, I felt like, for Shaitan.
Well, it's not, again, it's just, he hasn't had the opportunities. If he tries to go in, if he blinks in, he's just going to die. Now he's got a BKB. But even then, we saw him get right-clicked down by TC, so... It just feels like it's not a bad item pick. I mean, he just hasn't had the opening. Smoke gank from Complexity again, but they get caught out this time. The Ravage, TC cleaving through them. 2 hits, melts both of those heroes, and Godot on the back foot now. He's can do nothing but run away. 4-step out from Musica. Jo meanwhile gets another pick. Are they done just yet? Doesn't look like a nice Centaur micro, slowing TC down for the moment. But this is only delaying the inevitable. Now comes the mid push, and I just don't see what they can do to stop it.
I don't either, but here comes a big push.
We are without ideas. Hopefully AL have some, because the push is coming now. On the bottom lane, this is not the best way to start off. If Musica dies, no, step back. Great Chen Blade from Godot, who's had so much already, but TC slaps him down. One quick cleave and he is dead. That's all she wrote. Bleak is the first to tap out, and who can blame him? That TC, that Tiny is just too big. Maybe teams need to start banning this Tiny, because every time I watch it, it is just dominant.
I have not seen TC's Tiny lost a game yet. Maybe I'm not watching the right game or all of the games, but it's a force. It's a force that a lot of people forget about.
Especially if he gets the start, and it feels like every game he's getting that start whenever he plays.
Well, it's easy to get that start, right? Because you got supports to tank and die for you if necessary, and they're gonna set up for kills for you as well. So
man, where are these supports when I'm playing pubs? I'll tell you.
They're on Complexity. Unfortunately,
they're on Complexity, killing me a matchmaking if I ever get matched up against them. Jo is in trouble here. Shackle is not gonna hit. He will die. Very bold moves towards the fountain, but TC doesn't care. Right-clicking his way to victory. And now they can proceed to the throne. They've already got 2 lanes of wreck. Or maybe they'll go for a couple more kills, padding those stats up. Jo blinks in, no Scythe of Ice use just yet. Now he's going to use a Musica, critting for, wow, 1200 damage. And that is being cleaved, by the way. Diffusal Blade helping the Fountain Camps. TC is absolutely out of control, doesn't even lose the Aegis. And now Complexity can end this game, as though it weren't over already.
Man, yesterday we asked the question, how much can you sell cheese for? 500 gold. They should make an option to sell Aegis for, kind of like a late game troll.
Right.
Don't even need it, bro.
TC finishes up the throne with a few more swipes. Well, guys, it was a wild game. It was a great performance by TC, but he had a lot of help along the way. Let's not forget the effectiveness of that Mirana and Shadow Demon early on. AL dropped the series 2-0. Complexity will win their first match in the group stages of the Beyond the Summit World Tour. Of course, if you missed our earlier match, you can check that out. All the VODs will be available on Twitch, on YouTube as well. We'll have those uploaded for you guys, and we'll post the links and all the places where y'all go to find some Dota news. But for now, this is going to do it for our broadcast for today. Complexity beats AL, and of course, if you didn't catch it already, Zenith had quite a series. Check that one out for sure. I am LD of dotacommentaries.com. You can check me out at facebook.com/LDdota or youtube.com/LDdota. And joining me today was none other than Luminous. You can check him out. Go ahead.
Another big shout out to dotacommentaries.com. All the VODs of this tournament, as well as all the other stuff, like the Dota show, is going to be there, and they will be updated accordingly. So if you want everything in one place, that is the place you want to go, www.dotacommentaries.com. And yeah, thanks for having me. It was a fun 5-game series. We have a little bit more action for you guys in the coming days. I said EG versus Tongfu tomorrow. I've been told that it's rescheduled, so we're going to be updating the site accordingly as well as we find out these information.
Yeah, we'll keep the site updated. The best way to stay on track of that is dotacommentaries.com, or you can follow Beyond the Summit TV on facebook.com we'll try and keep that updated for you guys as well. And again, big shout out to all you guys. We had a huge turnout today, over 10,000 at one point, and well, it just shows how much you guys love your Dota, love to watch these top teams play. It was a pleasure casting for y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll tune in the future. And of course, a big shout out to the teams who were playing it. In the case of AL, it's pretty late there, and teams playing at odd times. Dealing with high pings. They just want to show you guys good games and get some practice for the nationals. So thanks to the teams. Thanks, of course, to Gods for putting this whole thing together. And again, this tournament is available in Steam in the Dota 2 shop. So if you want to watch the games with commentary, if you want it in the client, that's an option for you as well. You can control your own camera there. So once again, guys, thanks all so much for tuning in. That's gonna do it for today's broadcast. But we'll be coming back tomorrow with at least one game, possibly two, and we'll update you with that information as soon as we have it.